I'm going to see longtime Broadway legend Christine Bendul. She's done 2 decades of major Broadway shows, toured around the world, dance educator. Christine Bendul, it's so good to see you.
It's amazing to see you too.
So share a little bit. I know you're a Broadway star and movie star. You have a lot of experience on the ground in the arts and made it through the pandemic. And share a little bit about your life.
Oh my goodness. I was adopted by the Benduls in northern Jersey, in Emerson, New Jersey, because I was found in the street as an infant, abandoned in South Korea.
Wow.
And I came to the United States when I was a little over a year old. This has bearing in the story because this is how I got into dancing. So the orphanage is responsible for cleaning you, feeding you, but not parenting you. So by the time I came, I wasn't using my legs and learning how to walk. And so I just remember excruciating pain, like excruciating. And when parents figured out it was my legs, they took me to specialists. Specialists realized everything was underdeveloped and no blood flow, circulation, muscular development. So instead of PT for a toddler, they said, put her in an activity where she's forced to use her legs. So officially moved into the city January 96. And I was very lucky, got my first show within 6 months. And I had about a 20-year Broadway career. And in a lot of the really big dance shows, one thing that between ballet and even down at Disney and on Broadway, it was always like the specialty world of partnering, because the people I worked with and specific partners I had that just expanded my world beyond Broadway. At the same time, like trying to stay sane and deal with the world and deal
Life in New York.
and getting older and New York City and where do I live and so
Cost of
a
living
lot.
is crazy.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
Yeah.
You said a few really pivotal things. They put you in an activity, the power of movement, and we're seeing, I know this is a bit off art topic, but it's from the healthcare side, we're seeing these incredible trends in obesity and chronic conditions and youth, and the kids on their phones now, and they are not doing that. And it's such a testament hearing this story again, and look at the foundation that gave you then for your life, whether you become a professional or not.
Yeah.
We know the power of the arts. We know the unifying force. We know it's a force for peace. We know it's a force to break down walls of hate and divide. And yet, the funding is rapidly, I don't even want to say changing because it's still out there, but so many of the outlets we had have been pulled.
So yeah, I definitely have seen an evolution in the productions over the decades. And the thing that makes me the saddest now is these shows that open and producers are closing immediately, whether they have a Tony nomination, an award or not. And it's almost like the Broadway show producers come to life. They can cut their losses if they close the show, and it's really sad because you're putting all these people out of work. And all these people might leave one show for the opportunity. Oh my gosh, I got a feature role or lead role in this other new musical, and they're hoping to pay rent, and you put all your eggs in that basket, and then to have the show close so suddenly, even when it is the buzz is that it's a hit, right? So prices of tickets now, if you want a premium seat,
$500 to
up
go
to
to
$900
Broadway.
for a premium ticket.
Who can
It is
pay
not
that?
sustainable with the people's working wages have not come up with the cost of tickets in theaters.
Yeah, the inequity is a problem, and it boils back in my mind to this greed, anger, and foolishness that's permeating everything right now, where it's become less about the people and about supporting community and more about the bottom line. And I know there has to be both. We don't want people to bankroll a show and go bankrupt.
Of course.
But, if the theaters are not getting a break in terms of their maintenance. And then there's the issue of insurance, because you get that through the union. If things go the way we're seeing, everyone's insurance is going to quintuple overnight.
Yeah.
And it's not like your focus right now.
Well, I'm actually revising my children's book I wrote and illustrated.
Great segue. I was going to ask you about your book. Tell us about your book.
So, I wrote and illustrated a children's book called Noodles Needs a Nap. And it was inspired by a character I had come up with when I was in the Broadway show Cinderella.
One of the benefits of platforms like Amazon is that as writers, I also have books out. There are other avenues besides trying to get somebody at Simon & Schuster. So
Absolutely.
And speaking of the money, for artists under contract, like as a producer, I always contract my artists because it just keeps the boundaries tight in this day and age. They can't be on their phone and this and that. So also, and I did not know this, that artists who are contracted must be paid within 30 days or there's legal ramifications to the hiring company. I'm hoping that the pendulum's going to start to swing back a little bit, and there is some pushback now with social media, and teachers are going to say no phones, leave them at the door.
Yes.
Are you seeing this? You're more in the community than I am.
The problem is, I don't think things aren't being said and taught.
The speakerphone.
And I don't know why. Yeah. I don't understand it. But
it's an entitlement.
We have to do better by the younger generations. Whoever's at the helm has to do better.
Where's the boundaries? Where's the respect for your teachers and the people? And I think it's a bigger overarching problem of this sense of, well, why bother? Because there's going to be nothing out there for me anyway. We're in a crisis of consciousness, really.
That's the perfect phrase.
And I feel like what's happening is
a
reflection of the life state of the country, of New York, of the country, because we're all just still clawing our way back from that. And how do we exist in the world? And everything's changed, and there's so much fear and so much. We're so disconnected from ourselves, from each other. The entitlement comes from rage, comes from not feeling appreciated, and in the arts and everywhere.
And believe it or not, I really feel that the arts is a way to express yourself, but to have some kind of outlet is the healthy thing to do. And I can't tell you how many stories I've heard about the little child that was running around rampant with ADHD. And guess what? The minute the parents, somebody said, you should put them in dance. And then it was like, voila,
And it, like you said, it doesn't matter if they become professionals, they become better humans.
So I think it's always the intention. Are we doing it to make money, or are we doing it to help and create change, right? So I really feel that programs like these would be so beneficial in public schools, not just in the private schools and charter schools, but public schools that really need these outlets, not just dance, but certain sports that have discipline, for example, and martial art.
To do all this in the public schools, and instead of gym, let's be able to take dance for 8 weeks and then have a little show. Again, back to the power of the arts and why we need to fund it. And I feel like what our leaders are missing is that the better the people are doing in general, and the more comfortable they are, and the more they're not living in fight or flight, just people generally speaking, the better everyone's going to do, and the more they'll be at the top. So this fear, back to the greed, anger, and foolishness of we have to hold on to everything, and you got, it's really backwards. And if we can start to try and make headway to flip that.
If we give the youth a vision and a goal to set together, then they realize they're on the same team. They end up learning how to coexist and respect to get to that goal together, right? And then that sense of separateness and that it goes away, it dissipates, and then within that comes the respect for others. I think that would be really special and powerful.
That's
and
in
helpful.
my plan.
Love it.
I have a plan for that. Girl. Thank you, beautiful Kristine, for having coffee grounds for change.
I love it.
Coffee is my favorite thing. Bye.
Oh, yes. I love that.
Paid for by Amy Jordan for Congress.
I'm Amy Jordan, and I approve this message.